Nothing is decided yet, and we are now jumping into game number 4, and we're going to get a nice south to north plane path. A lot of options here open for all these teams.
Yeah, this is pretty much anything you possibly want on the table. You might have a little bit of struggle going for, let's say, Zarki or Primorsk, but let's be honest, if you're going to Zarki or Primorsk, you'll be fine with anything you pick up along the way instead. So we got our guys that are doing their normal jumps. Honeybadgernation is going to go over to Novo. We already kind of know that God Squad's going to go military base. Wildcard looks like they're actually doing their push over towards Primorsk now. I wouldn't say that we're probably going to see anything too surprising inside of this. Now, one of the things to note is this is our final game of the day. We still have 2 more days to follow up. But where we're looking at, we have I'd say in the top 6, several teams that are separated by only 10 points. That's 1 kill, Moses.
Absolutely. So that, that slight dispersion among that top 5 teams. Again, we have 3 days of action. We're getting towards the end of day number 1. We have said in the beginning that anything can happen, but we can already see the pecking order starting to establish itself. Right now, it's all about the fragging ability of Ghost and that late game push that they've been making. But for these other teams, Honeybadgernation picking up a round win here.
But this is very interesting. There's actually a squad that's dropping over into Ghost Gaming's little home that they have set up. They've been living the Milta life. Nova is being forced out of their spot, which is usually Novo, by Honeybadgernation. And now we're getting a little bit of contention coming in here. And I think that they might have realized they might not want to stay here. Looks like they grabbed a buggy and they just cut out.
Absolutely. So now I'm interested to see, we can actually start to see, ooh, these are fancy new logos we have here on the overlay. Really liking the way that looks. And now for these teams, especially for Optic Gaming, we can see them occupying that Razak area. This is a nice looking circle for them. They don't have to move too early. Really, most teams have found their way into the first circle. Obviously, Tempo Storm having to move off and find their looting area around that Gaka region. Wildcard sticking to Primorsk. God Squad down on the military base island. But for now, I think this is a lot of open area for these guys.
Yeah, one of the things to note is we keep seeing Dignitas get control over the whole northern area of the map. We haven't seen a circle pop on them yet, but that could be really, really big for them if we see that occur throughout this. So that's why they're staying committed onto this. They know the fact that there's nobody around them. They've got control inside of this area. Now, meanwhile, Slime Squad is having a little bit of trouble, but Wooly getting a run over on Kid Cody there and going to be able to finish it off.
So NRG, that's the first kill. So that's Kid Cody going out early. Orbit finding themselves on the bottom half of the leaderboard so far through the first 3 games. Not having a good start, losing Kid Cody right away.
What's really interesting about that is we were talking about like Pachinki is NRG's city. For whatever reason, they kind of pushed out, I guess, to go get a vehicle or something. On the way back, they're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll just run over this guy, take the free kill.
Absolutely, and I mean, anytime you can hit someone with your car, that's
feels good.
Just an easy pickup, really.
I know. It's just like, there's something about it. It's like the sound whenever you run somebody over. I gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Can't go too far down that. Otherwise, people like cops might show up. And be like, so we hear you like running over people
again. So as far as so for NRG, we've been talking about them a lot. We've seen a lot of good things from them, but that good stuff has not been translating into late game success. Really impressed, however, for a relatively new team, new to NRG at least. They're performing well, but what do you think they need to do to take that turn and make it into that top 5?
They tend to go quite loud, specifically in the mid-game sections. They have a lot of confidence in their shots, which is great, but they keep getting pincered. It's almost like third-party activity kills them every single time. So what we might need to see them is kind of open their viewing perspective a little bit. Instead of tunneling on the squads that are directly in front of them that they want to get the kill, they want to get the down on, make sure that they keep awareness around them so nobody can come up and just pop them from the side.
No doubt. So with Ghost Gaming, they're now, I guess, halfway through their loot phase. McCoy, Venerated, everyone here humming very well. What do you think, if you're the rest of these guys looking up at Ghost, what do you need to change to deal with these guys?
You have to disrupt their movement patterns. We already talked about that. They like to play safe, specifically the first couple of circles. They want to make sure that they come in 4-man strong, so they're going to be playing around the edges. Let's be honest, they're confident. They've dropped Milta every single time. Try to find different points. Try to find different contest points that they might be moving into. With a circle like this, they're already inside the safe zone, so you can't do much there. But let's say if we end up with like a Georgia pool or a military base kind of a circle that comes through, or if it goes over near Stolber, try to get in position points to maybe catch them in their transition phase.
No doubt. Hitting Ghost in transition is going to be the key. And for now, speaking of transition, there's not going to be a lot of movement here. Most of these guys already found their way into the zone. Eunited still split looting at this stage, but they can kind of convalesce in a compound just to the north of Milta. interested to see Dignitas, another team that we've been expecting a little bit more from. We just haven't seen them kind of break out just yet.
They keep getting on those cusp moments. They almost get it. They almost fully unlock. They get in these positions where they start getting the firefights that are happening. They're having a little bit different issue than what NRG is. NRG keeps getting pincered because they're focusing in. It almost feels like Dignitas is focusing on too many fights. They keep taking these fights with like 2 to 3 different teams at a time because they don't necessarily come into a specific point where they want to be at. So it might be based off of a transitional phase. Maybe they're just moving a little bit too late and not getting exactly the spot that they want to. So instead, they're kind of playing off of a position where they feel weak, and so they just want to get aggressive on everything around them, which just brings too much fire their way.
Absolutely. And now you can see where the pressure points are going to be mounting, specifically around this kind of region where you can see Flyquest and everybody hanging around each other. And really, I'm interested to know what is going to occur in this region where it's going to be time to move, once the later circles start to come.
Well, we see a lot of people really like to play around the area that Flyquest is in. We've got multiple squads already positioning up inside of that area with Flyquest. There's that road that kind of bisects right off the side of the mountain, just north of the farm area. So whenever you play that, you can actually kind of look 2 different directions. You can look down to the north, look down to the southern area, and you can just kind of take whatever fight that you want to. So we're going to see a lot of people potentially try to fight inside of that area because nobody really wants to just do up right on top of the mountain that's just south of school.
Oh, look at this. We have Gankstars arriving right on top of Chris, who's just barely trying to make his escape in the buggy, and he will get away from them. So Motivate barely avoiding some damage here, but Spacestation Gaming nearby as well. They do have a nice compound held on to currently. So Gankstars looking to try and get active here and deal with Motivate. Chris forced off his buggy and into the divot just nearby.
And he's just trapped down there. You saw whenever he tried to pull out and away, it was because he had to go down into that divot to avoid any shots, so he curved back around, dropped into another divot. If anybody comes in, he's at a vulnerable spot for third party. He is in a little bit of a dip right now. Gankstars was thinking about it. You could tell they were like, do we push this? It's a touch too risky, so they're going to pull back out and away and just get control over this hill, which, to be honest, is a very strong hill to play in this location.
No doubt. And I mean, Motivate is all spread out here. They have no firepower, no ability to trade. You can see Gankstars here. Just they only have the 1 vehicle, I believe, among them. I don't see the second one there. Might have it just out of sight. Regardless, interesting spot to take without vehicle flexibility as we see Nova held up here by themselves. Locknar,
just like Nova, yeah.
Yeah, it's just Locknar. He's actually receiving fire, I believe, from Flyquest down the hill.
Yeah, it looks like they have him pincered down into this position. Flyquest is already trying to get control over that road that we were talking about. You can see you can look down 2 different ways, really control the area around you. Looks like Locknar was coming in, trying to get control of this so the rest of his team could come through, but they're still off over Milta right now, so he is solo and by himself. I don't think that Flyquest knows this because they're playing very passive based off of it. They just know that there's somebody down inside there, and they don't want to let anybody come out of that complex. They don't want to feel pressured off of it.
So we were talking about Optic Gaming, who has had a decent day so far. They are just, again, moving around this Razak area. No real urgency to leave. We see Bahawaka has received some shots from Uncivil. He's going to try and return that. Uncivil is down and finished. So Uncivil, now the second player removed from this game, and that is the first kill for Optic.
Goes back to what we were just talking about. Dignitas seems to be having a lot of trouble in this transition phase. Either they're moving, I was saying that they were moving a little bit late, but that time it just felt like they were moving a little bit too brave. But that's kind of common sometimes. I think that Dignitas is now defaulting back into the scout strategy where you send one person out, try to get some information, get that foothold, kind of like what Nova did with Locknar.
Right.
This time it just didn't pay off for him.
Well, we've seen that in the past where that scout strategy punishes teams. Losing that scout is essentially just throwing away a player for free, and now that is to the benefit of Optic Gaming. Dignitas still relatively spread apart, but now in the play zone, we are seeing it shrink. Slime Squad, another team that's been having mighty troubles today, just with their rotations and dealing with team fights. We'll see if they can turn it around.
I love the fact that, remember we saw a second ago, one of the guys from Motivate was kind of trapped in that little divot.
Right.
Instead of trying to get out, one of his teammates just comes over there and it's like, hey, I'll hang out down here with you. We'll be alone. Don't force him to be alone by yourself. We'll just kind of come out there and maybe try to protect you a little.
So Tempo Storm has just lost Dre. It looked like he tripped and fell, and Wooly was there to catch him, and that is going to be another person eliminated from Tempo Storm. Actually, only 1 loss so far for them, but that's a tough loss for them early in this game.
But again, it goes back to the fact that so many of these teams are within just about 10, 15, 20 points of each other, trying to fight for those top 3 spots. We've seen the Ghost already get a lot of dominance on the leaderboard, but right behind that, it's pretty tight. Every one of these kills could be really big today.
So speaking of Slime Squad, looking at the map, you can see that density again starting to mount in the center of the play zone. Slime Squad deciding not to join them. They're going to be moving around that top portion of the play zone. Not exactly sure where they're going to go.
Hey, there they are. Up into Zark. Zark's like, nope, thank you. I'll take that kill and give me your loot, please. And I guess a motorcycle to boot.
Absolutely. So picking up another kill is NRG. That will be 2 for them. They are going to need that momentum if they're going to perform in this game. I'm liking, again, they're going to use this open cover. You can see Adam scoping it out, seeing what's going on around here. You can see Geis also there. But Totality, another team. We've been covering Totality what seems like 6-7 months now. I'm not sure if it's been quite that long, but a team that's always had high expectations, high performance, but never quite able to breach into that upper echelon.
They just keep getting so close. Like we saw it in one of the rounds a second ago, whenever Ghost just kind of gate kept them out. They get into a position, they get the kills, and then they go for one transition into what they feel is a safe spot, and it's just like people come out of the woodwork and just destroy them on that. So it would be one of the nice things that we can see them, specifically in late game, because they're so good at keeping 4 people alive and getting the kills early game. They just need to transition that into a little bit stronger of a late game.
So for Eunited, opting again for a split strategy, high and low at the shelter and in the compound below. They do have Motivate and Gankstars nearby. Smeagol has actually separated from his team and come a little bit further forward. Not sure if he's just trying to grab onto something more important, maybe that shack there. But again, moving over to NRG, they do have, I didn't see who that was arriving nearby. I think that was God Squad arriving nearby.
If we can bring up the map real quick, you just have to see. It's just like, we talked about the centering strategies that are going on. Look, all you see is just nameplates. Everybody is all separated out. Nobody's centered in, but they're all inside of this circle except for essentially Slime Squad. So it's just nameplates everywhere. There is no corner of this map that is not got somebody in it, except for Pachinki, it looks like.
Absolutely. Gankstars now getting involved. That's a long shot with that AK Teflon. Maybe a little bit optimistic with that long shot with the AK. Totality slowly starting to sneak in, and Eunited looks like they're going to try and reunite closer towards the shelter, or maybe move on somewhere else.
Well, Microfy seems like he's having a little bit of trouble there as Geis is trying to bump him with his buggy and flip it back over. So we'll have to see if they can manage to get out of that safely. A little bit of fights now happening between Dignitas and Optic. You can see Dignitas crested that hill. Optic was already in a position to kind of be waiting for them. They're already inside the safe circle, so Dig doesn't necessarily have to push on this, but Optic did get line of sight on them, throwing a couple of bullets out. You can see Gustav took a little bit of damage. Now Dig has to figure out how they're going to play around this, because Optic is sitting on a lot of cars at the direct time, but I don't know if I've seen Dig using any.
No doubt, and really with this compound, it's an interesting hold. Optic has a lot of flexibility, but a lot of windows. Bahawaka can't stay still for too long lest he get shot in his head. So for Bahawaka and the rest of Optic, holding on to this compound is going to be very important, and the shots ring out as they can see another team just across the street. That's Spacestation Gaming.
Yeah, the Optic's in a pretty strong spot in their given position right now. They are in the northern area. They just kind of, we saw them drop in Rajak, so they shifted a little bit past school, just a little bit to the east of that. Dignitas, we saw them give the flank. Remember, Optic's already got 1 kill onto the Dignitas members, but Orbit being very slow, finally starting to come in. They're going to take that Rajak position back behind them. Dignitas, I think that this is just some hello bullets at this point. They're just kind of saying back and forth, like, hey, if you get a headshot, cool. If not, we're not going to commit either way.
A little bit of jousting here between these two teams. I do like the flexibility of the open position that Dignitas has chosen, but for now, I imagine that they're just going to want to try and stay flexible here as the circle. They are still in it, but they are at the edge once again.
Yeah, everything's collapsing now down next to them. Totality looks like they're caught in a little bit of a long-range fight. I'm guessing with Smeagol at range there, because you can see that Lost and the rest of those guys are positioned around the warehouse, or just to the west of the warehouse area. We got Eunited. Looks like they managed to get out of their buggy, get off to the side over there. But
Smeagol has been finished, looks like. So Interrogate did pick that one up, so Totality now on the board as well. Bahawaka very concerned about the movement of Dignitas at the northern portion of this play zone. Orbit sneaking in as well. That circle is about 20 seconds away from finishing its next shift. So for these teams, again, we're finding ourselves, is it going to be north or is it going to be south? But really, that center of the play zone, very dense.
Well, at this point, you have to start thinking, you know it's going to be around the northern area because there's still water inside of the circle. The circle's going to try to pull itself away from the water the most that it can, specifically in this circle or the next one. So leaning into the northern area is probably your safer bet. You can tell that the teams that have played a lot of competitive, that's why they're opting into that. The teams that are a little bit more used to playing on online events such as God Squad, Honeybadgernation, Slime Squad, they're the ones that are playing more along that coastline.
Yeah, absolutely. And having that flexibility is going to be very important as we see Eunited really taking a look at everyone around them. Totality is nearby. That orange on orange circle, a little bit hard to determine, but that is Totality 100%. As we see now, it is Los HD really out in the open in that forward position, looking to try and grab some visual information. Eunited has a much better position at this stage. I don't think Totality can really trade with them.
They can take a couple of pot shots back and forth at each other. The big risk comes from if Totality, if they get downed, there is a good chance that Eunited can capitalize on that very, very quickly. Because again, just playing in these little divots right over here next to this location, they're fairly safe from this angle. They already know that nothing's going to be coming back up behind them. New circle has popped, and it is going to move over towards that area just to the west of Milta Farm. We're still going to see a little bit of Potato Mountain inside of it, that road that we were talking about just a second ago. But we're starting to see everybody hop into the vehicles. We've got God Squad already going for transition. NRG is going for a position. Farmland is really hard to drive through, so there's going to be a lot of shots coming off in the distance. Look at this. Team Gates is just trying to drive right by Motivate. Nobody's going down in this. Finally, actually, we see it's going to be Motivate that gets a kill onto Exo.
Yeah, it looks like Exco has gone down. Zen finishes him off. We did see a team knock as Flyquest also getting involved with Team Gates. CeeLo now dead as well. The transition for Team Gates coming apart at the seams as they are continuing to press forward. You can see Mortified trying to drive through Tempo Storm there. And now it's all about Slime Squad hanging out in the middle of this field, taking a look at Flyquest. I'm really interested to see Flyquest again, dead center in the middle of the zone with a compound. They're in great position.
Yeah, and we can also see Nova finally had his friends come up with him. A lot of shots coming out. They have control up over inside of the area. Cloud9 finally coming alive in that and just destroying Trigger Happy there. Cloud9 fans, I know they've been waiting for them to catch some momentum. It looks like they're finally starting to get it.
It looks like NRG also is dealing with Tempo Storm. We did see the Honeybadgernation logo scroll through the kill feed again there. Just a wonderful logo. But C9,
your favorite, all of them, right?
With the 2 kills, Tempo Storm has lost Maluk now, so I believe that's 2 down for Tempo Storm at the minimum. NRG staying active, really liking the action here, but this circle is taking no prisoners.
We still have Orbit way on the outside, and some of the members of Optic still playing outside in the blue. And I guess that they're going to tail in behind the circle and try to see how much damage happens. 68 people alive in the farm area. Nobody's necessarily wanting to rush inside of that. As you can see, Wildcard's coming around the outside. Dignitas finally managed to disengage from Optic and come around there. Optic now inside their vehicles and going to be moving into this location. But there's just not a lot of real estate left up and available. There's hills, there's a couple of trees you can hide behind, some rocks here or there, but nothing you necessarily want. So one of the things we should keep an eye out on is how Motivate is going to be pushing in towards Gates. You can see that they kind of want this, but Mossy is just right at their feet.
There's just nowhere left to go right now. There's just too many people left alive. We still have 68 players up and moving. That circle, however, does not slow down. A shift again coming. This is going to be the decider as to who's going to make it into the late game. No team eliminated just yet. Lots of trades happening, but nothing decisive. This next circle is going to dictate what happens in the late game.
Flyquest is in a very strong position right now. You can see their sight lines are so good, specifically Sharky up on top of this. Mossy just going to let that slide by. Not surprising, he's pretty weak at the time. I think he's all by his lonesome. He just was praying that they didn't come back down the hill. Motivate now hopping inside their vehicles and pulling away from him is drawing the attention of Flyquest in that high ground spot.
So Motivate moving past where Mossy is currently trying to hide as we see Landoon take down Purdy. So now Totality again finds themselves at the edge of the play zone. They are between Eunited, Nova, Gankstars, and they might even have some vision from Motivate, but they are distracted. So for now, I'm interested to see how Eunited is going to try and translate this position into late game success. They are still 4 strong. They have no one on their rear flank except for Dignitas, who's a little bit too far away. I would like to see them try and take out Totality here.
Let's see where we're all going to be going now. We're all within touching range of each other, and it's going to move back over near Nova. Nice shots coming out from Smithy, getting that down onto Richie. That's going to be really big for them. We were seeing the Totality was under a lot of pressure there. They were trying to get some reses, trying to get somebody up and alive. United's just on the outskirts of it. We have a lot of squads that are on the outside of the circle, just slow pushing their way inside. Wildcard just managed to get their foothold inside of there, but look at how close these squads are.
Absolutely, and there's more on the way. It looks like Honeybadgernation is also going to be joining this party. This is a very complex area for them to deal with. It's lots of high and low, lots of buildings. You can see it is going to be energy going at Flyquest.
And we've got a lot of movement that's happening. They have to hit these shots.
Sharky.
These guys are bad. They're in a bad neighborhood right now. Grenades are coming down. There are 3 squads all right next to each other. NRG's trying to hit the shots on the guys from Flyquest. Meanwhile, on the outside of it, Honeybadgernation is looking back over towards those guys. So we have to be very careful. Meanwhile, everybody that's up on the hill, you can see Motivate's way up there. They can look back down and take some shots into this as well.
We have seen that previous circle now complete. The circle is about to move again. You just heard that sound. And we still have 66 alive, and we have seen our first team eliminated. I believe that might have been. I
think it was Totality.
Yeah, no, Totality's still there.
Yeah,
we didn't see who that was, but we'll update you shortly. As NRG and Flyquest are still dealing with each other. They still have the zone, however, so this might be a bit of a situation where they're just going to start to take a little bit of tick damage.
But the thing about it is, there's so many squads around them. They're caught up in this firefight. They can't disengage out of it because they're inside the buildings. They have to hit the pot shots back and forth on each other. That's going to allow a lot of these guys that need to move into this area of the circle so much more freedom that they would have had. So you can see that everybody's just trying to get right up next to each other, and wow, a lot of fighting happening on the outside of the circle.
And it looks like it was Tempo Storm, the first team eliminated. Trigger Happy, the remnants of trying to make it past both Optic and Honeybadgernation. God Squad a little bit further behind. C9 spread out, but look at that complete disaster with Spacestation Gaming and Motivate. Mossy still alive in that area as well. We cut to Vexel, who's dealing with a pressing Motivate.
They're going to come up right over the crest on this. Looks like Inferno has a pretty good idea where it's at. A couple of shots going back. Smurf is now gone down on this. This is turning real bad for Spacestation Gaming. Only Vexel is alive. He got the down that he needed to get a little bit of reprieve. Inferno's right up the side. Grenades are coming down. He's already lost about half of his life. Everybody from Motivate knows exactly where he is, trying to be back down. He's just throwing out every bullet he can. He's got another down on top of it. It's just Chris at this point. Does Spacestation Gaming pull back over? Chris is peeking up on top of this rock. He knows where his teammates are. Gonna go for the smoke on it.
They have to keep it together here, but actually Vexel will finish it off with a grenade, and he will get 2, so Vexel has taken 2 back. Smurf is still down. Can Vexel hold on to that and manage to clutch this thing? We cut back to NRG, who's now dealing with a moving God Squad in the open. They have no cover, as it looks like Pentalo will take the first one from Pat Caps, who are all huddled around that shack.
You know that nobody ever wants to live the shack life unless they're forced into it, especially in squads. You huddle down in there, you know that anybody can just come up and encroach upon them. There are so many squads that are caught outside and in the blue in these firefights, just not capable of stepping up right now. We've got Cloud9 that's caught on the outside of it, Orbit that's caught on the outside of it. We've got Optic that just managed to make a foothold but did get downed a second ago. God Squad's Drassel's trying to fight his way inside of it. Gunner's on the outside. There are so many people just trying to inch their way inside the circle right now, and it's just fight after fight that's happening. As you can see, Zark's just not letting anybody come off of this angle right now.
56 alive. We are now headed into yet another circle transition. This is going to be a situation now where all the outsides of the play zone are going to have to start converging as Vexel is eliminated, so that is Space Station going down. As we see Totality, I believe, also I don't see anyone left from Totality. That's it. That's just Totality eliminated.
They got knocked out. I think we still have one person alive from Trigger Happy. They're off in the distance over there. It's going to be Gunner still outside and then the blue. The guys from Optic are caught up right next to Honeybadgernation, as the guys from Wildcard are also taking a couple more shots at him. New circle has updated, and it's going to be right over next to Slime Squad, due up in center. The guys from Flyquest, NRG, Dignitas, they're already inside the safe circle, so it's just the people that are on the edge going to have to force their way in. But if you look in the southwestern area of the circle, there are so many squads stacked on top of each other, and Ghost is running right over there to join the party.
So Ghost has rotated around from that very highly pressurized north end of the play zone. Good choice from them. Venerated, I don't think, has enough time and space to get to where his teammates have landed. Wildcard is nearby, but Slime Squad and Snowbird preventing that. But look at this, NRG getting involved here. That's 2 downs. We also saw Gankstars taking a lot of damage as all of a sudden, all this pressure has been mounting and now it's about to explode.
NRG in a good position. Remember, we talked about it beforehand. They had to come down off their rooftops, but they have so many nice angles to play off of. God Squad still trying to get what they can off of this. Moody's gotten knocked off in the distance. God Squad finally gets a little bit of a reprieve, trying to step up and forward. Lots of bullets coming their way. A down does come out actually from Honeybadgernation off in the distance, but it's going to be NRG that comes in and finishes that off. Retreating back to the shack, it's just Pentalol and Taylor J up and alive, but Taylor J is just trying to crawl back towards him.
Honeybadgernation is staying active here. They are actually picking off the stragglers from God Squad. So Honeybadgernation is there and active. But now here comes Optic. Optic is coming to them as well. Honeybadgernation is trying to fend off the pressing Optic. Optic is there. So now we see, it looks like NRG is interested in here as well, but Orbit at the other side of the play zone with that AWM as we, again, continue to see trades from Optic and Honeybadgernation.
Yeah, down in the southwestern area of the circle, they are stacked right up on top of each other with NRG providing some form of oversight on it. See, Frolicker, Stab, they're making their way down, but there's so much action that's happening across this hillside. We still have a lot of small skirmishes as it looks like Ghost was wanting to come out and over this direction. You can see they're starting to retreat back up now. Wildcard forcing them back. But all of the action is happening right now on these southern areas of the circle. We still have Honeybadgernation stacked right up on top of the Ghost guys. I think that they're sharing a building at the direct time.
Yeah, it looks like Honeybadgernation is actually still, there's one player from Optic left in there. I can just see the green poking through there. Ghost has come in on the southern portion of the play zone. Wildcard is held there as well. And you can see here, here's the Ghost squad, Tumai and the rest of Wildcard just to their north, I believe, or sorry, to their west. So for these two teams, the circle about to shift once again, but really, NRG and Flyquest have been holding strong on their side of the play zone, preventing any sort of movement.
And this is what we've been seeing from them. They're doing a great job of getting into a position early, but they get caught in these long fights, and they're having to spin every single angle, make sure that nobody encroaches on them. They've done a great job of making sure nobody can push on them from the east, but it's all of these squads that are condensing around on the western area. Somehow, I have to point out, by the way, that Mossy is still alive and still right next to Orbit. He's just like been tailing behind him for like the past 10 minutes by some miracle of God. NRG's just turned back over. Cloud9's trying to make, and he lives barely, but no, he gets shot from another angle and it takes him down.
So it looks like now still Valiate and the rest of Honeybadgernation trying to deal with Optic. They still have more than one left, but Honeybadgernation going for a press here. Fast Rail is down, as it looks like there's one last remaining member of Optic, but that is Valiate going down, and that is going to be Optic eliminated, going out in 13th place.
Ghost just hopped into vehicles and are hard pushing right over to where Slime Squad is at. McCoy just jumps out and is taking shot after shot at everybody, does get it down on top of it. McCoy getting another kill off of this. This is just getting explosive. So Slime Squad in a lot of trouble over there. Finally, probably getting knocked down on the sound.
That Ghost took a lot of damage. I believe that's at least 2 down for them. The push has been halted as Eunited is playing spoiler. Dignitas there as well. This is coming apart on all areas of the map. Nova now moving around, sweeping the top end of the play zone, and down goes Narc.
That was a beautiful grenade coming around the outside of it. NRG's just got too much pressure that's on top of him.
Grizzly!
Grizzly does a beautiful flank and nets 2 for himself.
And looks like that's going to be 2, actually, 2 down and finished. NRG still has 2 left standing. They have spread out. They are trying to salvage it. There's still 10 teams alive.
Yeah, you can see NRG is just separating out every direction. Pentalol is playing on the outside of this. New Circle is nowhere near them, so they're going to have to disengage on this. They just have to fall right behind it. Pentalol, here's the UAZ taking off. This could be his moment. He runs back out. He sees where the vehicle's going, just opts away, going to try to meet back up with his friend Wooly, but they have to run directly in the circle, and look, Flyquest is just sitting there waiting for them. Meanwhile, let's pop back over here with Nova. Remember, they got caught in that fight with Orbit. Orbit's already down on the low ground, bouncing from tree to tree. Nova has the high ground shots, trying to get the shots on it, and they just nail them. So now they have a free path to try to run down, except for the fact that Flyquest is still taking shots from them from their complex that they've been at.
Flyquest has been using this position great, but they're in the open. That's Paradox way out by himself. He takes a ton of damage. The actually Locked Up ran out of ammunition, unable to finish that off. That is a huge piece of luck for Flyquest. That was incredible. Flyquest has been using this position to great effect so far, but look at this. Slime Squad, split position in the center of the play zone. They're dealing with Eunited and the remnants of Honeybadgernation.
Flyquest can finally disengage from the building that they were in, move to where they consider to be a little bit of a safer spot. You've got Slime Nation just kind of caught out right now, and Flyquest is just running around, murdering everybody. Sharky does get knocked down, but it's going to be the guys from Wildcard. Remember, they're way down on the leaderboards right now. They've been fighting their way into it. This could be a good round for them.
This is pretty crazy. We have actually I believe NRG has also been eliminated. I saw the last 2 go down, and now Flyquest is starting to take some casualties. They've had to flex out of that strong position, but Wildcard now swarming. They are there, and they're trying to clean up Flyquest, who's been taking a ton of damage from Nova.
But the problem with it is Wildcard can't take the shots. They can't move around to really go after Flyquest. Nova's going to be the one that's mopping it up because they've got Ghost that's taking pot shots off of them from the distance. You can see him way off over there. Honeybadgernation's trying to come back on top of this. Slime Squad's just sitting in the middle of this just listening quietly. Finally, Tamai going with a little bit more of an aggro peek on it, but it realizes he doesn't want to push too far that direction. New circle right on top of the two of the members off of it.
Nova now getting involved. Tumai going down. Nova has been using that hillside advantage, using that elevated position to rain fire down on all their enemies before them. Slime Squad now the only team in the current play zone. The circle getting ready to shift once again. Still 7 teams left alive. Eunited staying active, still 4 strong.
Taking the shots, but they're going to have to move across. We still have half of Slime Squad caught up and tangled in with the guys in Ghost, right in the same building on it. But Wildcard's getting pressured from so many different angles. You can see that Honeybadgernation's coming up. They want to push around this outside. They're going to push right into Wildcard. Going to be running directly at them at the time. Flyquest is still up and over there, so we can look down in the southern area of the circle. That's going to be how they're cresting out and around, coming right up on top of them. Pride is up and alive right now. Going to be coming right back behind him. Flyquest just comes up, takes the shot.
Caden and Venerated are pushing onto Snowbird. Snowbird trying to defend. The trade comes in. Snowbird finished. Can Caden get res by Venerated? Ghost still trying to hold on to this thing. Honeybadgernation staying active as well. Grizzly going down. Nova has been playing extremely well this game, and now Eunited going for a late game vehicle push.
They could just crash into this. They got to make their vehicle fortification as quick as possible. They know all the pressure's onto them. The guys from MicroStar just caught up inside the shack, trying to take the shots onto this. They can't quite get the full formation, and they just have to take the shots as they can. Honeybadgernation still on the outside of this, though.
Nova has been, again, picking apart Honeybadgernation. That is wicked down and finished. Slime Squad actually getting involved now, taking down Caden. They knew they were there. They lost a teammate already. Venerated, the last man standing. Caden is finished off. Slime Squad in great position here. Eunited has arrived on scene.
Nice flank. United's taking the shots down. Slime Squad, they can't peek out of their shack. You can just see the doors getting torn apart. They're trying to retreat back, get the res on top of it. Nova has managed to get so much control over this circle. Look, they've separated out, trying to provide some type of cover fire for each other. We got a couple of stragglers that still need to make their way inside the circle, but they're going to have to run right into where Nova's positioned at.
I think this is going to be a situation where United, if they can keep it together, can stay 4 strong, they can clean up this hillside and just try and take control here. Slime Squad is trapped.
Fast Rail's running right down back behind him and gets taken out by Microfry. Yeah, so long distance shot there. Locknarb gets a little bit of protection from another squad as Eunited catches them off in the distance. Venerated, the last person from Ghost, our present leaders, still caught out. Can't make his way inside the circle. I think he dropped down and is on his belly right on the edge of it. And no, it's going to be MicroStar that sees him. Venerated, so that's going to take them down. Now it's just onto these 3 teams. We've got Eunited, we've got Slime Squad, and we've got Nova. And Slime Squad still inside their shack, still inside the circle. Now it's just going to be about the guys on the outside and how much control can they get of this area.
This is Nova's game, but he's got to be careful as Nova, that's Locknarb going down to the vehicle explosion, I believe. Actually, no, that was the shot under the vehicle that took him out. He could have died otherwise. So Microfry, it looks like Slime Squad has almost no options available. They are stuck in this shack. Locknarb finished off, so that's another kill. Locknarb and the rest of Nova picking up 12 kills so far. Now, can they convert? There's 2 men left. Eunited in position to win this game.
But Eunited's just doing a hard crash in. Microfly's coming in strong, right on top of it. Gonna force them back out and away, using the car, running around the outside of it. He's gonna try to destroy what he can over here to provide more cover for him and his teammates. Just drops down to his belly. He knows that there's people next to him, but his job is just to be a distraction. And Richie's gonna take them down from the outside of it. So now we are down to just 2.
Nerf has lost. Nerf did take down Kaisako, so that's a nice play from them. But now all of a sudden, that's a lot of damage coming onto Eunited. That's 2 shots now. It's a 2v4 situation. So can Nova continue to roll through this game? They do have a decent position here. It looks like Nerf, we can just see the top of the head, and that's a down on the Geist. Nova looking to try and take this game. Another grenade comes in.
Is it going to connect? It lands off into the distance. It's going to pop down, just be a little bit short. Eunited's under a lot of pressure right now. Richie, he's really low on life. Nerf is really low on life. They know exactly where their targets are. They're trying to hold this angle on it. Everybody's inside of the safe circle. Everybody's just doing a little bit of a reprieve moment. Nerf has now got his health back up. Look at this. Richie just keeps taking the peek back off to the side over and over again.
They might be out of grenades. Nerf me looking to try and hit another mini shot. That mini got that has the bullet speed to try and win that trade. There's 2 in the shack, 2 outside. The peaks are, I think they might have lost their advantage, but that another car explosion. United now full health. I think that Nerf me and the rest of Nova, that would be Richie, might have lost their advantage.
Coming back out near Nerf. Is it going to connect? And yes, that's going to take him down. That's going to be all Eunited needs. They know that they have the numbers advantage. Looking back over there, just drops Richie, and Eunited coming out on top this round.
Absolutely very well played by them. They had that outside position throughout the mid game.